In other words, we were scammed. The entire country was scammed. Can you imagine how many lives were lost? How many people suffered horrific, life-ending diseases, crippling diseases that completely wrecked their lives for the sake of pharmaceutical profits? Okay, the reason why I'm sharing you this now is because of our beliefs, because of our biases, and we have biases. We have biases because as humans, it's natural for us to feel one way or the other about life, to be drawn towards a conservative or a liberal worldview. And because we're drawn to those worldviews, we establish or we develop beliefs and priorities and biases to make us look at the world a certain way. Because we're drawn to looking at the world a certain way, we're easily manipulated and exploited. And the thing is we care so much about what we care about. And we so much want to refuse that we're being manipulated and exploited that we can't look at things that are going on today. Things like immigration, things like diversity, you name it, whatever it is. We're so polarized, and these are such hot button emotional issues that as soon as anybody brings them up, we immediately draw up our defensive walls, and we look at those issues only as we want to look at them. So what I'm suggesting is, let's step back from that. Let's look in the past. Let's look at something that happened 24 years ago that maybe we won't be quite so emotional about, that we won't get so defensive over. And I tell you what, I talk to people today that were pro-embryonic stem cells and pro-cloning, and they still get upset when I tell them that they were scammed and misled and tricked. They don't want to believe it. They can't argue that nothing has been cured. They can't argue that the pharmaceutical industry hasn't made the money that they've made. But they're still upset, and they want to defend their previous position. And it's tough. It's really tough. People that were pro-life, they look at it from the religious or the moral standpoint, and they say, well, they were killing embryos. And that's true. They were killing embryos. But it was all about money. They were the people that looked at it only through the religious, moral viewpoint were being exploited every bit as much as the people that were looking at it for the sake of cures. They were manipulated through their religious beliefs. They allowed their religious beliefs to exploit them. I can't begin to share how evil the people are that would exploit millions of hundreds of millions of people around the world, billions, for decades, causing mass suffering and death, all for the sake of their comfort and wealth. But there it is. The numbers are there. The reality is there. It was always there. The embryonic stem cells and human cloning was a farce. It was a farce to begin with. Yeah. I can explain the science, but I did that 24 years ago. I did it in testimonies. I did it in the Senate. I did it to the House of Representatives. I did it on CNN. I did it to the New York Academy of Sciences. And nobody refuted a word I said. Nobody could, because I was using the scientist's own research. It was a scam. It was always a scam. Now, what the importance of that is, take that and come a little bit closer, time-wise, from 24 years ago. Since then, we've had climate change. We've been told by the GOP and by the oil industries, gas industries, that climate change is a liberal myth. Then they turn around and they admitted to Congress that they lied. They knew it was real all along. What were they doing? They were using our beliefs and our biases against us. Exactly the same as stem cells. What happened with COVID? 1.2 million people died that they're admitting, and that doesn't even include another 1.2 million that died over what should have died for that time period. That was covered up by the death certificates claiming that the deaths were no known cause when they were obviously COVID. Again, we were used, manipulated, and exploited through our biases and beliefs. And it's what's happened all along with Donald Trump. If we don't learn to look past what we want to see and what we tell ourselves reality is and see it for what it really is, we're going to doom ourselves as a democracy. We're going to doom ourselves as a species. I used to be a train dispatcher. I couldn't look at my tracks on the computer screens and imagine it to be whatever I wanted it to be. I had to see what was there. And if I told myself, that those two trains weren't going to crash, or I wasn't looking at a disaster waiting to happen and ignored it, that's what we're doing in our country. We need to wake up. We need to look back and see that we were used and exploited over and over again. And if we don't do it, we're going to continue to be used and exploited over and over again. Thank you for your kind attention.